what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
In the world of barbecue, there's people who smoke meat for fun, there's people who smoke meat for money, and then there's some people who do it for fun and money, plus a heavy dose of competition. Today, our guests are a big part of the barbecue competition circuit in the Carolinas, and they'll be involved in an event coming up a little bit later on this month of May. Before we get started, I'm excited to announce the launch of the Low and Slow Barbecue Show newsletter, The Lowdown. Visit lowslowbbqshow.com and you'll get the latest podcasts, blogs, recipes, and Carolina barbecue events mailed to your inbox every Tuesday morning. Subscribe today. You'll get all the premium content for free. Now let's get cooking on today's competition barbecue conversation. Today we welcome Lori Tracy Stobie from Lori's Ace Hardware in Fayetteville. That's the site of a big barbecue battle coming up May 18th. You'll also get to meet one of the competition cookers participating in the battle, Bobby Brinson from Vicious Pig Barbecue. He's a professional competitor turned food truck. Welcome to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show, you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I want to get started with Lori first. So, Lori, tell me all about this big event, the barbecue battle that's happening on May 17th and 18th in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, thank you. We're very excited, and it's almost here. We've been planning this for months with the help of Bobby and the Southern Barbecue Network. So what people can expect is on Saturday, May 18th, they're going to see up to 20 competitive pitmasters in our parking lot. Fortunately, we have a pretty big parking lot. And while they're competing, they're going to be turning in their meats to the judges, and then afterwards, the public gets to come and they can go around and they get to taste all of the competition barbecue. And they buy a ticket, and all the proceeds go to the Cumberland County Autism Society. So it's going to be a really fun day.
Yeah, wow, that's fantastic. So we get to come out there, we can buy tickets, we can taste the competition barbecue, and a lot of activities going on there. So if I'm a visitor, that's what I expect. What do I expect if I'm a competitor coming out to Lori's Ace Hardware?
Yeah, if you're a competitor, you're going to get to be with many of your peers, which is always fun. And since they're all competitors, they will definitely have a lot to do. They'll be coming the day before and getting ready, and then they're going to be starting their cooking probably the morning of or the night before. So they'll get to interact with all their peers, but they also get to interact with the public, which I think will be a really fun addition to this event. It's serious in the morning, and then the afternoon can be a little more laid back when the public is there, and then they can have some great conversations and build those relationships.
Yeah, fantastic. And that's always a favorite part of mine of going to these festivals and events like that. And you don't always get to see that at the competitions, right?
Right.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the charity that the event's going to support. You mentioned the Cumberland County Autism Society. Is that right?
That is correct. So autism is near and dear to my heart because I've raised a child with autism. He's now a full functioning adult, thankfully. But autism is something that has been increasing for so long in the whole country, in the whole world. And so it's a cause that definitely needs our support. And the Cumberland County Autism Society provides a lot of resources and connections to people who have children on the autism spectrum. And from personal experience, I know it is extremely important to have those resources and connections. So you have people you can talk to, people you can throw ideas off of, know who the best doctors are, know where, you can go for therapy. So it's a great cause, and we're very proud to be able to partner with them.
Right. Thanks so much for sharing that information. So you shared a link with me a little bit earlier today from Up and Coming Weekly. It's Fayetteville's local community newspaper. And that's why I want to ask you a little bit about Lori's Ace Hardware. You got a unique story. So maybe give me just a couple of minutes about your backstory and how you and your partner came along to open up this business in Fayetteville.
Yeah, it is an interesting story. So, Nate and I are the owners, and neither of us come from retail, but I have a marketing background, and he has a construction and custom home building background. But we are a COVID love story. So, we met in 2020 when COVID was maybe 3 months in. So, if you remember those days, we all kind of thought, it'll be over soon and things will be back to normal. But of course, that did not happen. So we met when still everything was shut down and you couldn't go anywhere. There's no movies open, restaurants were closed. So we just did a lot of walking and talking, and that's how our relationship grew. And we got married a year later, and then we decided shortly after that we'd really like to move to a warmer climate. So we were living in Minneapolis, St. Paul, which is a beautiful area, but very chilly 6 months of the year. So we thought, well, let's move to a warmer climate and let's find something that we can do together that we will enjoy and also be able to give back to the community. So that's how we landed on Ace, which is a brand that this year turns 100. So it's really fun to hear customers come in and tell us their stories of Ace hardware. Oh, I had one as a child, or I've been to one that's at the beach, and it's a well-loved and well-trusted brand.
Yeah, so celebrating a century with Ace Hardware, and now you guys, I guess, are coming up or have just passed your first anniversary there in Fayetteville, right? You opened in March 23 thereabouts, and now here we are in May of 24, and you're getting ready to host your first big barbecue battle. Tell me, how did you get connected, and why did you decide to host this year?
Yeah. Well, we are all in on grilling and barbecue. We love it personally, and everyone on the team that works here loves barbecue as well. But we decided early on we wanted to go all in on grilling. So we have a very large selection of not only grills, but everything that goes along with grilling to make it a full experience. So whether you need patio furniture, whether you want outdoor lighting, you need accessories. Because what we do is we train our staff to have barbecue experts so that we can educate the consumer about what types of grills might be the best fit for them. Get them into the right fit so they are confident in making that purchase. And we do grill outs ourselves several times throughout the year. Right out front, we will grill out. We'll let people sample different sauces and different meats off the different grills. And then we partnered with Vicious Pig and Bobby Brinson so that we can really build that relationship further. So Bobby helps us with those efforts. He introduced us to Southern Barbecue Network. He's been helping us plan this upcoming event as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And I'm going to talk to Bobby here in just a minute, but I want to ask you just one quick question. You come from Minnesota, and down in the South, we do things a little bit differently, right? So how does the barbecue of Minnesota and the Twin Cities compare to what you're finding in Fayetteville and here in the Carolinas?
It is much more popular down here. I mean, down here it is a culture.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. So yeah, there's differences in sometimes the taste of different, there's the Carolina barbecue sauce, which is more vinegar based. And up in the Midwest, it's oftentimes more of a robust or Kansas City style. But it's a lifestyle and culture down here, the barbecue scene. And it's so much fun, and having all these competitors that can go around and do the competitions, and they have food trucks, and it's just a really fun, it's a fun group to be a part of.
Yeah, so that's a great segue for me to come on over here to Bobby Brinson and talk with you about Vicious Pig Barbecue. So again, welcome, Bobby, and tell me, what is Vicious Pig Barbecue, and how long have you been cooking meat low and slow?
Whew. So just a little history of me and who I am. So I'm a retired firefighter. I worked for the city of Fayetteville here. I worked there all my adult life. Retired a couple years ago, got out of the fire service. And my wife asked me, I'm still young. I'm fixing to turn 49. I've got a 4-year-old. So my wife asked me, she said, what are you going to do when you retire? And I told her, well, I plan on trying to figure out a way to sleep through my naps. that didn't work out too good. So So I said, well, really, the only thing I've got to fall back on that I think there's a market for is the food truck. And so we took my competition trailer and we turned it into a food truck. I got all the health regulations, completely stripped it out, rebuilt it, and that's how we started it. We had to come up with a cool name. I bounced around with names through the past. I've been competing professionally since around 2011. Was featured on a couple of TV shows, Barbecue Pit Masters and all that with my brother. Different things like that. Was really successful in the KCBS circuit. So I had to come up with a unique name that fit me, and I say, you know what? Why not the Vicious Pig? You know, if you're in the barbecue world, and hopefully most of the ones listening are, all the names you can think of are probably taken. Everybody's got every cool name you can think of. So I was like, man, Vicious Pig. How cool is that? And it kind of, looking back on it, it was a quick little name guess, but it turned out to be a really cool vibe for us. It actually states who we are, and we're very well known around here. With that, like I say, the food truck deal has been going well. We took the food truck, we hit the ground running with it. Still trying to balance out the food truck versus competitions, and we do a lot less than we did before. But that's kind of a little Cliff Notes version of who I am. Definitely came along. We partnered up with Lori and Nate with Ace Hardware. Really, the first time I sat down and met them, I knew it was going to be good because really they're good people. But I do want to clarify one thing, just so we're clear. Where she's from, out in the Midwest, barbecue's a verb, and where we're at down here, barbecue's a noun. So there's a difference. And of course in the Carolinas, maybe you mentioned barbecue. It's mainly the pork. We have the hog farms, we raise pork, and that's kind of what everybody's used to. So barbecue around here is the pulled pork. Barbecue. You go to a store, you come to my food truck, you order a barbecue sandwich, you're going to get a pork sandwich. But versus you guys, you've been to Texas, all that. Texas is beef. Out here it's pork. But so we partnered up with Lori and them. We've come a long way. We've done really good things. We have cooked. We promoted a lot of their brands, a lot of their products. I really feel like we've grown a really strong relationship with what we have. But we started out with this competition, and I host one every year at my house also, and it's a pretty robust competition. But I felt like there's a need to pull one into Fayetteville. And with that being said, kind of like you say, to segue off. This competition that we're having at Lori's is the Southern Barbecue Network. I'm a team liaison, so I'm North Carolina team liaison for the Southern Barbecue Network. So I'm actually the first contact teams have with that. So which is good that we got this to be a sanctioned event. So what we have is we have all the certified judges. It's a sanctioned event. The teams that are in are members of the Southern Barbecue Network. They're chasing points. They're chasing points for Team of the Year. They're trying to win that grand championship that's going to get them to go to the Invitational, to cook in the Invitational, which is the top 20 teams in the year. And so that's kind of a big thing for us to be able to have it here. So like I say, with that being a sanctioned event, not a backyard event, we're encouraging everyone to come out with this event, because although it is a professional event, we'll have a lot of first timers there, or some first timers. We'll have a lot of the pro teams that are chasing the point. So it's up in the air. But the good thing is if the ones that are listening on your podcast and they're thinking maybe they want to swing this way and try it out. Lori and Nate are doing a really good job. They got a lot of good space. They're very thorough with what they have for the competition. So it's going to be a really good day for us.
Yeah, fantastic. And I want to come back to the Barbecue Network. Tell me, what is the Southern Barbecue Network? And you mentioned there's judges and it's a sanctioned event. Tell me more about the network, and how does it compare to some of the stuff you did in the KC Barbecue Society?
Okay, yeah. So Southern Barbecue Network, it's a group. They were designed. They're a nonprofit, and they're designed to they offer like strategic help for planning of events such as like what Lori's doing. And what they offer is they offer judging. They offer the certified judges that come in and do the blind judging for the meats to keep it all on the up and up. They offer the computerized scoring. They offer hands in trying to guide the organizer in the right direction with the competition to try to make it to be the best it can. Like I say, the Southern Barbecue, they're a nonprofit, and they only do things to help out nonprofits. So what they do is they if you have a nonprofit or you're doing a charity, it has to go to a nonprofit. And you have to list that on your application to be able to be sanctioned. But what it does, like I say, it allows it to be on the all the up and up. There's no it takes the personalization out of it, and it allows blind judging. Certified judges come in that they've been to class, they've eaten the food, they've got some experience in judging. So it just keeps everything on the up and up. Is kind of the Southern Barbecue Network in a nutshell. We cover a lot of the Eastern Seaboard, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, some into Tennessee in the past. We're branching out and growing, and compared to other organizations, not that it's better or worse by no means, but it fits. If you're a barbecue person and you like to do this event, the good thing I'll tell you the pros for the Southern Barbecue Network that's kind of drawn me to it is that you don't have whenever you have most of your other sanctioned bodies, you have garnish inside your box, which can be some sort of like a green leaf lettuce or kale or parsley. The Southern Barbecue Network, they only judge you on the meat, so that there's a no garnish box that you put your meat in there because they're really focusing on how well you cook the meat that you turn in, and that's a good thing. Another positive note for them is there's an hour between turn-in times usually, and that's up to the organizer to set their times. But for the most part, the way the Southern Barbecue Network guides the organizer is to say, hey, there's an hour between your turn-in time. So if you're cooking a 4-meat comp, you have an hour before you got to turn in your next meat. Where a lot of your other sanctioning bodies, there's a 30-minute time between your meat. So. And that's tough for somebody, of course, like myself. I compete by myself usually. My wife may show up sometimes, and I joke with her. I call her Blister because blisters, they show up after all the work's done. So I tell my wife it all the time. We joke about that, but so I'm usually by myself. So but when if you got some competitions, if you got a 4-minute walk to your turn in and you got to turn your box, that's 4 minutes to get back to your site. So now that 30 minutes turns into 22 minutes. You've got to prepare. Well, actually, it's less than that because you got another 4 minutes to walk it back, your next box. So you're getting back your site, you're rushing, you're trying to get your product in your box. And I think with the Southern Barbecue Network, I really feel like with what these teams are bringing to the table and what they're turning in is a better product. I just feel like they have more time to focus on getting the best meat that they've cooked. They're not rushed. I don't feel like they're rushed. I feel like they can really get in there and get the best meat they've got and turn into the judges.
Okay.
And like I said, that's the Southern Barbecue Network in a nutshell.
Yeah, and you mentioned they've got events. Obviously, Lori's Ace Barbecue Battle is one of those, and then they've got other events coming up in June, August, September, October, and then the big finale in November. You can get more details at sbbqn.com, and you'll be hearing more about the Southern Barbecue Network here on the Low and Slow Barbecue Show here in the weeks ahead. Again, Lori's Big Barbecue Battle is going to be coming up May 17th and 18th, and a lot of competitors like you, Lori said about 20 or hopefully more will be showing up out there. So I want to talk to you, Bobby, a little bit about the competition piece. You said you got started in 2011. What drew you into doing competition, and what do you enjoy about that?
So, like I say, I've been a fireman my whole life, doing a lot of cooking at the fire station, doing different things. I've always felt comfortable on a grill versus in the kitchen, doing different things. So that's kind of, I'll say that's where it kind of got started. My brother was a mentor to me. He had a restaurant here in town, and he competed professionally with me, and I was kind of like the tag along, the guy in the background with him, and which it was kind of, and I liked it sometimes. We went to a lot of competitions and we won a lot and we lost a lot. But I tell people all the time, it's when you're winning, it's fun. When you're not winning, it sucks. And I don't mean it sucks because you're tired, you're run down, you spend a lot of money that you don't get back, and you feel like you turned in sometimes the best product you ever cooked, and it's not what they wanted. But continuing how I got started, and I just started that. My brother got out of the barbecue scene, got away from it, and I said, you know what, I want to keep it going. I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from some of the places that I've been, some of the events I've been involved with, and I wanted to branch out and on my own and do it on my own. And so we did start Vicious Pig, and we've done some really good things with it. With the Southern Barbecue Network, we've done a lot of good things. This year was a really good year for us. My goal last year, just a little history on the Southern Barbecue Network also, if you win a grand championship, you're invited to go to their internet or their invitational every year, which is in November. My goal last year was to more to prove a point than anything. I wanted to show that I wanted to enter one competition and I wanted to win it, which would give me my invite to go to the invitational. And then I wanted to go to the invitational and I wanted to win the whole thing. So I went to an event, I won it, one event I did one event last year, I won it, went to the invitational, I won the invitational this year. So it was kind of like a really good moment for me to be able to just to prove that, hey, it can be done. You don't have to be the best cook out there. You just got to have your best days and land on a good table. So that's kind of what we did, but that's what we do with the Southern Barbecue Network. That's what Vicious Pig does. We're a food truck here in Fayetteville. The competition scene is now it's secondary to what we do, but we still compete a lot professionally. And looking forward to the teammates and the other teams that are coming in. I mean, there's some really strong competition based off some of the teams that Lori and Nate have told me they're coming. Some of these guys that are coming, man, they're coming to win it. And I'm gonna be in the parking lot out there representing Lori's Ace, and I got to make sure it's right. I got to cook my best product. But one thing in barbecue, and if you've been around it long enough, and the people that are listening probably know, I tell people all the time when you're doing blind judging, there's three sets of tables. There's a table that scores low, a table that scores high, and a table that scores right. I want to be on the high table. I don't want to be on the one that's scoring right. I want to be on the one that's giving the high scores. And fortunately, that's competition barbecue in a nutshell.
Yeah. So what do you feel like is your specialty in the competition realm?
Well, for us at Vicious Pig, we've been voted best ribs in Fayetteville here through our food truck. We're nominated again this year. We're a finalist in the best ribs category. I'll say that our ribs are probably that they're really good. Unfortunately, when you eat competition barbecue, you're packing so much flavor into one bite that it's so rich that sometimes the judges don't like it that rich. They like it to be more mellowed out, but that's just not my style. But I've been hitting higher score wise in pork, but I feel like ribs are probably my specialty. And the good thing is at Lori's we're doing ribs and pork, so hopefully I'll hit a home run, but not sure.
Yeah, great. And so anybody that comes out to the festival, they can taste it. Is what people are going to taste the same as what you're serving up to the judges, or is the audience palate different from what those guys are bringing?
So a lot of the teams will because the butts are provided to the teams from Lori's.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the teams will come out and they'll use all the butts to prepare it, and they'll like I say they'll pick enough food to put in their turn-in box all out of the food that's given to them. And then so I will say that the majority of the teams will have their competition quality food that they're serving to the public out there.
Okay. Yeah. Now you mentioned when you lose, it's not as much fun. Apart from that, what do you think is the hardest part of coming out and competing and participating in some of these events? And maybe throw the food truck aspect in there too. What's hard about all that?
So in the competition world, the hardest thing for anyone probably is a lot of the backyard guys and a lot of the guys that are just getting into it is the setup and breakdown, the physical part of that, trying to get everything set up with your pop-up tent, your tables, trying to get everything that you've got packed into Tupperware containers or Tupperware boxes and unload everything and load everything back up. I would say that's probably the most physically demanding part of it. Unfortunately for us and other teams that have been in it, we've got trailers that our cookers are mounted inside, so there's not a lot of cleanup for us. The mental stress of being out there will wear you down. Being up all night, cooking the product, because I tell people, pork butts are not a product you're going to cook in 2 hours. You're not. Most of the people are going to take 8-9 hours. Some of them cook on drums and they'll cook them in 4 or 5 hours. But you still have to, with the turn-in times being early in the morning, sometimes 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. You've got to get that food on, sometimes around midnight, 1-2 o'clock in the morning. And it's not something you just set it on and walk away and forget about it. You got to maintain it. All these teams are chasing temperatures. They're trying to get, they're pulling it at a certain temperature. They're putting it on a certain temperature. That it's just like us at the Vicious Pig. or me, I go in and everything's on a timeline, man. It's like if it I've got timers set on my phone that goes off like every 12 minutes. It seems like, I got to wrap ribs, I got to base ribs, I got to do this, I got to inject blood. Just whatever you do, all through it's all on a timeline. So, and you feel like if you miss one of them, man, you feel like your whole night's screwed. And that's kind of the mental part of it. I mean, that's the mental part of barbecue is trying to stay focused and trying to be on your game throughout the entire thing. But in the wee hours of the morning, I laugh. I jokingly tell my wife all the time, I said, man, I love competing in barbecue. I love them until about 4 in the morning. 4 in the morning, I'm sitting there in my trailer. That's about a lull time where you're sitting there, the sun's not up, you're dead tired, and you're like, man, you know what? I could be at home, my warm bed, not worrying about this stuff at all. And then about the sun will come up and you're rejuvenated, get a cup of coffee or whatever, and you're like ready to go again. And you get that high again. You get everything racing, and get everything turned in. And then you get everything turned in. And it's just a mental dump, man. It's just like, wow, you're running on adrenaline, and then you get everything turned in. It's just like, man, all I want to do is just sit down, sit in a corner somewhere, let air conditioning blow on me. But
yeah,
it's really a good time. Really a good time.
Yeah, so that's a great kind of glimpse into what people can expect around the environment there at Lori's Ace Hardware. And Lori, I want to turn it back to you and just ask you, what do you enjoy most about being a part of it? And I know this is your first festival, but obviously you're an integral part of the barbecue and the cooking out and the grilling community around Fayetteville. What are you enjoying about that so much?
Really, it's meeting all the really great people. And honestly, that's one of the things about moving down to the South that we've really enjoyed is the hospitality. It truly does exist, the Southern hospitality. Everyone has been so gracious and welcoming to us, and they're so happy that the store is here. And being able to be part of the barbecue community, these are genuinely nice people. We are humbled and honored to be able to work with Bobby Brinson because he not only is a winner, but he's a great guy and he's honest and he cares about people. And that's important to us. So we like to align ourselves with great people, and the barbecue network down here is a community of great people.
Well said, and so glad to hear that about the South. Now, if people want to find out more, they want to get involved with the festival, it's coming up again May 17th and 18th. What do they need to do, Lori?
They can stop in the store and talk to any one of us. They can call us on the phone, or they can even go to our Facebook page and message us there.
Yeah, and I saw your Facebook page. It looks great. You got a nice logo there. All the details about the event are there, and they can log in, email you there, and reach out and connect with you there. Lori, Bobby, thanks so much for joining the Low and Slow Barbecue Show today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. You've been listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show on the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. Be sure to follow us online at lowslowbbqshow.com. That's where you'll find the blog, and you can hear other podcast episodes featuring the Carolina's great pitmasters, competitors, and event leaders. If you like what you hear in the Low and Slow Barbecue Show, please follow us and subscribe in your favorite podcast stream. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating. That helps other people find our podcast. And remember, if you visit lowslowbbqshow.com and subscribe to the Lowdown newsletter, we'll send you the latest episodes, blogs, recipes, barbecue events, and more directly to your email inbox every Tuesday morning. Special thanks to Lori Tracy Stobie from Lori's Ace Hardware in Fayetteville, as well as Barbie Brinson from Vicious Pig Barbecue. Thank you for joining us, guys, and thanks as well to our producer, Andrew Moose, and the whole team at the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. Most especially, thank you for listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. Remember, for the best barbecue and the best barbecue podcast, make it low and slow.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.